What's going on, guys? So we're doing a late start today. I spent the morning just doing a bunch of basic stuff on the car. We are working on the sedan today. So I did a bunch of maintenance items and some little things here and there this morning. I put on a new set of rear tires, so that's good. The suspension setup on this car, the tires are actually wearing really evenly, which I'm impressed because it's freaking low, like way low. And on the outer shoulder, it wasn't wearing as much as the rest of the tire, but it was not just destroying the inner edge, which is freaking nice because that thing is pretty cambered. On top of that, I did a full Valvoline EFI 3-step fuel injection service on the car. So it's pretty much like a professional version of Seafoam, where it has the intake cleaner, then it has a separate fuel rack cleaner. It's pretty much like super heavy concentrated Seafoam that uses its own equipment to run through. It spat a ton of crap out. Like 200,000 miles worth of carbon buildup. I don't think this thing has ever been cleaned like that before. So it's idling and running a little bit better than it was. Not that it was running bad, it's just running smoother than it was. The thing with the Valvoline 3-step EFI is it just freaking fries your plugs. So I got a new set of plugs. These are the NGK UPs. These are going to be going in. I did the plugs on this like 2-ish years ago, something like that. We're going to be running a new fuel filter on the car. But the main event for today is the M50 manifold swap. I've had this guy sitting around for a while and I've wanted to change it over. I just never found the time. So there's a little bit of a size difference in the runners. So for those of you guys in the dark on the M50 manifold swap, the intake manifolds on the OBD1 cars, the M50 cars, had much thicker intake runners. So this is an OBD1 E36 intake manifold for M50, such as the little Cheeto, the M50 B25, that came with these intake manifolds on them. When they updated to the OBD2 cars, they gave it a smaller, more restrictive intake runner, and that increased the torque output of the engine and some other magic stuff, and they kept the horsepower the same. You can put an M50 manifold from an OBD1 car onto these motors. Onto an M52 or an S52, you get roughly 20-ish horsepower gain, something out of that. The M50 manifold swap is one of the best bang for your buck modifications you could do to one of these NA 6-cylinder OBD2 cars. Now, if you're doing an M50 manifold swap on a stock tune, you will lose some torque, but gain high-end power. I'm running a Castle Performance Ultimate Swap DME. I believe it's already set up for the M50, so we should have no torque loss and more power gain on top of that. So in theory, your 240 horsepower E36 M3 is now a 260 horsepower E36 M3. So there is going to be a full DIY video on that. For those of you guys who are interested in doing the swap and want a more direct conversion on it, I'm going to be using the M50manifold.com kit. This is the kit I recommend everyone because it's cheap. This kit's only like 100 something bucks. I think the ECS and the Turner kit are like almost 400. So it comes with clamps, hoses, some other fun things, vacuum lines. We are going to be installing this, which is a heater core block off. Because the HVAC unit in this car does not work, we've deleted the AC system already, but it just outright doesn't work. So I don't have a heater, so why run the heater core hoses back there? Not to mention that there's a ton of them and I've had them explode on me before on unmaintained cars, so we're gonna get rid of all that rear heater core system, simplify the motor a bit, and we won't have to worry about any of those rear heater core hoses exploding. We're also going to be doing a throttle body coolant delete. So those right there are cooling hoses that go into the throttle body. It's more of an emissions thing. It's more to get the air that's coming into the engine hot when the car is warming up. But once it's up to temp, you know, it just brings more heat to the intake system. And kind of like a cold air intake, if you have a colder air charge, you're gonna get more power out of that. So bringing heat to the throttle is not really ideal. So we're gonna delete those hoses so the throttle body will be running colder, which means the air intake charge will be colder, which means more power. So bigger manifold, colder throttle body, más power. I also have this right here. You guys have been following the Cheeto build. This is a fuel injector rebuild kit. So pretty much there's a little filter in there, there's a bunch of gaskets and new pintle caps, and we're gonna go through and replace all of them on all 6 injectors, and that way our injectors will be back up to par. So that's going on. I drove the car an hour ago-ish, so it's still cooling down, so we're gonna go ahead and knock the fuel filter out, and then we'll start ripping all this intake manifold stuff off. It's a hot day and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I don't know if I'm gonna get this thing completely done in one day, but we're gonna try. Ooh. Alright, fuel filters changed. I don't like doing fuel filters. They're not hard, they're just really annoying. Give us a little bit more room to work on the back side of that manifold. Look at that. So much more room to play back there. Let's get you off of there. Get you unplugged from the auto circuit. I don't think this thing's been off in a long time. Let's play. Shout out to the previous owners for doing a traction control delete, but still leaving the traction control throttle housing on. That's pretty cool. Nice trick there, bud. Time for some dipstick to be gone. Be free, my little dipstick. There we go. So things we need to unplug down here include, but are not limited to, the idle control valve, which is missing its clip. That's cool. The idle air temp sensor is right there. And I believe that is it. Oh, the crankcase vent line. I'll pull that off later. This will come off with the tin. And this valve can come up. Unplugged. See you later. Now, one thing I like to do with the O2 sensors is it's easy to forget which one is which. And I've done it and it sucks. So you put a zip tie around one end of the connector, a zip tie on the other. And now when you unplug them, you'll know which one goes where, because you have zip ties on them. Alright, so I got the wiring harness for the fuel rail off. These little clips here like to be a pain in the ass. So we are going to be rebuilding all of the injectors. So we're going to pull them off of the fuel rail. You can just pull those little clips out. Oh no, the O-ring stayed in that one. All nice and dirty. Perfect for a rebuild. And the pintle cap fell off that guy. Fish that out of the manifold. Disconnect that hose and that hose, and we should be free. Look at that. Alright, let the fun begin. So part number one is going to be the throttle body coolant system delete. So we're going to be removing these cooling system hoses from the throttle body, and pretty much all we do is wrap this hose into that. So the coolant flow comes from here into the throttle, out of the throttle, back there, or vice versa, whichever way. So I am going to remove this And just like that, we have throttle body coolant delete. Throttle body. Alright. Throttle body delete's good. Super simple. Now the rear heater core delete's going to be a little bit more fun than that. Alright, so this delete plug, I believe this is a Hard Motorsports kit. So that little plug there is going to go on this guy, and then we got one on the back of the cylinder head. That one's going to be fun because I got to clean that surface. I can't be quick about that one like I can this one. My little plug, nice. Don't need none of that. Probably should have put a bucket down before I started doing that, but oh well. So there's the plug, looking good. And there's the delete plate. That little kit fits pretty well, and it was a lot easier to install than I thought it was going to be. The worst part of that was getting the old stuff off. That was literally it. Alright, let's get these plugs knocked out. We're running rich. We're running rich. Plugs are done, in one sauce. I'm gonna call it for today because it's been really freaking hot, but we got pretty much everything done except for the manifold conversion itself. I haven't started converting the manifold, so that whole bracket needs to be modified and retrofitted onto that manifold and some other fun stuff to make it all work. I haven't started working on that. We're gonna do that thing first thing in the morning. But we got everything else done. We got the plugs changed, we got the fuel filter, we got the heater core delete and the coolant for the throttle body bypassed. All the little stuff that I wanted to get done today has been done. So this is day one of the M50 manifold swap. Not that the M50 manifold swap really takes more than one day. I just got kind of a late start on it. It's totally a one-day thing if you plan ahead. I kind of started at 2 o'clock, so here we are. But it is going to be awesome when this thing is done. I'm looking forward to the nice bump and power, and it is going to be clean because this hose is blue. And you're going to be able to see it, and it's going to be a nice complement to the hose, to the cooling system hoses on this. So I'm excited, and I'm excited to drive it when it's done. Alright, I'll see you guys the next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep it fresh, and I'll see you guys later.
We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search for